Hi, everybody. Big Guy here. Welcome to Mike's Garage. Listen, I wanted to tell another Vietnam story. I figured I'd do it in person here instead of just an audio. Uh, but it was a very interesting experience. I was in Fort Benning, Georgia, 46th Engineers in the 1970s. Uh, Great bunch of guys. I couldn't ask for a nicer assignment over there. Uh, the jungle boots are gone, the jungle fatigues are gone. The only thing I still have is my hat. I saved this and I had it embroidered with my girlfriend's name at the time. So it says Mike and Pat on there. And that's the same girl I married. I still got married. I'm still married to her today. So thanks for hanging in there, Pat, all these years. But listen, the hat was a different story altogether because rather than it being floppy, what a lot of the guys would do is they got really thin coat hangers and we actually fished a coat hanger wire through the whole thing, so you could take the brim and bend it, and it would stay that way. And that's what you did. That's how you got your hat to stay a certain way. That you did it because it had a coat hanger in there. You can see. I don't know if you can see it. There's a little wire sticking out there where you twisted it together. So you fished baling wire or coat hanger wire through the rim of your hat and doesn't fit anymore. I don't know, my head got bigger or something. But listen, the reason for the video tonight was to honor 420. Okay, that's I guess the police code for marijuana, whatever it is. But today's 420, and people were talking about, marijuana and weed and all this stuff. In Vietnam, that was everywhere. It grew on the side of the road. It was actually a weed, okay? And you could go pick it, you could go harvest it. Some guys tried to bring it onto the base. We were right along Highway 1 in Long Bend. So, you had to go through a main gate, and the MPs were there to check on you, what you're bringing in and out. What most of the guys used to do, and I thought it was really interesting because, see, we were in the motor pool. So, and it was easy for us to get a vehicle. And we had some friends that were in the headquarters company, and they had access to a copy machine. And what they used to do is you had to have a trip ticket. You had to have a ticket saying that you were allowed off of the base. You were authorized to leave the base in a vehicle. Here's where you're going, and here's when you're expected to come back. And it was signed by the captain, or I think it had to be more than a captain. Maybe a lieutenant could sign it. I'm not sure. But one of the guys that was working in that office used to get the captain to sign several of them blank, and he would make copies of them and sneak them down to us at the motor pool. So if we wanted to go to base, if we wanted to go to Saigon, and sometimes, I'm telling you how crazy it was, we would just take a truck and go ride around Saigon for a while. Try not to get in trouble. You had a 45 in your side pocket of your pants. You had a handful of 45 shells in your other pocket. And that's how crazy it was. And we used to take a ride just to see the countryside and see what was going on. Very interesting things. Guys would build houses out of flattened beer cans. It was really sad, but very interesting at the same time. Anyway, 420. How you used to get marijuana over there is you would take the truck and go out for a ride. Now, on a lot of the corners, there'd be 4 or 5 motorcycles, mopeds actually, small motorbikes, and it'd be 2 teenagers on there. And one teenager would drive and the other teenager would be on the back, and he would hold up a carton of cigarettes. Now, the cigarettes that they sold were Marlboros and Cools, okay? Now, what they used to do is, I don't know who used to do it, but they would buy the cartons of cigarettes, take the tobacco out, and then reload the paper with marijuana. So you would go down, and I think you paid $10. It was a dollar a pack, and all the cigarettes had no tobacco or very little tobacco, but it had marijuana in them. Now, the guys tell you it was 100% marijuana, and some guys say it's like 50% tobacco and marijuana, but that's how they used to get it. You weren't allowed to have weed on your person, Some guys would write home because you couldn't buy tops, the papers. And some guys would write home and have family members send them papers, and then they would try to get their own weed, pick it on the side of the road, and put it in their pockets. It was just stupid. And never really checked for it. Just at the checkpoints when you came through the main gate, they usually ask where you were, and if you showed them the trip ticket, you were good. So you used to drive down the highway, and the kids would hold up a carton of cigarettes. And if you wanted to buy them, you waved them over. Kept moving. You did not stop the car. You kept driving, and they would come up next to you 40 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour, however fast we were going, and you had to hand them the money, and the kid on the back was doing all the negotiating. You'd hand him the money, and then he would hand you the carton of cigarettes, okay? Now, the cigarettes were taped shut. The carton was taped shut. All the packs in there had the cellophane removed, and they were all open, that little, they were unpackaged, and then they were repackaged with the marijuana in them. And that's how they used to go downtown and score a whole carton of marijuana cigarettes. And it was really, I thought it was a problem over there, because a lot of the guys, they could not wait till the day was over. Some guys would even smoke. They would go hide and smoke these cigarettes at lunchtime. Sometimes they would mix them. They would have a carton of Marlboros, they have a pack of Marlboros with them. I smoked Marlboros over there too. Everybody did. It was like 10 cents a pack. It was like $1 or 15 cents a pack for a carton of cigarettes. And so to get the carton of cigarettes onto the base, it wasn't a problem because it was cigarettes. I mean, I think the MPs caught on. They knew what was going on. So you bring your cigarettes back, you open them, you get a real carton of cigarettes, and you mix them. So half of your pack that you carry with you is real tobacco cigarettes, and the other half are marijuana cigarettes, filtered, the whole thing. So I know a couple guys we used to hang with from California, and they knew all about weed. They knew if it was good, they knew if it was bad. A couple of them even used to go get cocaine and mix cocaine with the weed and then repack it themselves. Drugs were a problem over there from where I sat. Some of the guys, they were high every day. They would get stoned every day, where all they would do is sit there and smooth out his mustache. The one guy, he would get so high he would just go like this for hours, sit there and just watch, just stare at something. Whatever he was thinking about, I don't know, but he was really whacked out. We had a couple guys that got hurt trying to drive while they were high, and so it was a real problem. But 420, happy 420, I guess. Everybody's making it legal, every state. I'm in Pennsylvania. It's not legal here yet, but they're trying very hard. I think New York and New Jersey are legal right now. So they say that the people in the Philadelphia area are going across the bridge and scoring pot in New Jersey, and then I guess you don't even have to sneak it over. Nobody's checking anything. You just drive back with it. But that's how they scored weed over there. It was plentiful. It was cheap. You bought it with military money. That's another story I'll tell you another time. And I'm even working on a story about going to Bangkok, Thailand for R&R. So I hope you enjoyed the story. I'm sorry for rambling on, but as everybody makes weed legal, there's people that abuse it, just like alcohol, just like anything else. And there's people that cannot function when they're high, and there's some people that can. They can live, go ahead and not get that high and still function. So I hope you enjoyed the story. I love getting the comments from you guys. I know there's a lot of guys who were there when I was there or before me. I don't think too many guys were there after me, because it wasn't too long I was home, and they started just turning everything over. I know we started to turn over the heavy equipment to the local army before we left, the Vietnamese army. That's another story. Sorry for going on and on. Some of your comments, I like hearing from you guys. And thanks again for watching Mike's Garage. And don't forget to subscribe. I need some subscribers in here to let me know that you're interested in the stories so I can keep doing them. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. Be safe.